Hey, and welcome back to Sewing from Scratch. Today I'm sharing with you my 5 non-essential must-haves.
Summer days they go shorter, with every hour, every minute of every day. Couldn't sleep even if I wanted to. Need to cherish every moment left with you.
Magnetic pin dish, and this is something that you can find in hardware stores. It doesn't have to be a special sewing brand or the $30 one at your local Fabricland. It can be something from Princess Auto or any of those other automotive store. They will have a magnetic parts dish. It is so handy for when you're sewing on your machine and you just pull off your pins, and I like to keep mine right beside my machine so I can just set it right into the dish as I'm sewing. In fact, I love it so much I'm gonna get myself a second one to keep at my cutting table for when I'm pinning pieces together, because I find that I'm always taking it to my cutting table, leaving it there, coming to my sewing machine, and then pull my pins out and it's gone. I'm gonna get myself a second one when my new studio is done. It's handy for things like needles and bodkins and tweezers and little scissors, all that kind of stuff too. Next I want to talk about bodkins and loop turners. A loopy thing at one end, and then you put your fabric in here and it gets tighter at the other end. The purpose of a bodkin is to help feed things like elastics through, or you can use it for turning as well. I definitely like using it for feeding elastics and drawstrings and stuff like that. Especially use it when I'm making scrunchies. And if you don't have a bodkin, you might have a loop turner, which is very similar in function. A loop turner has this hook on the end, and then it has a clasp that flips up, so your fabric sits in there. You hook it onto your fabric and then flip this up, and you can turn things right side out. And then the other hand it just has like a handle type thing for holding on to. So the idea is you would feed it through your item, hook it on the end, and then pull it out right side out. Again, use it for scrunchies, and I use it for like straps or anything really small that needs to be turned right side out. And your loop turner is also handy if you lose your elastic in something when you're threading it through a casing, because then you can just go in, hook it on, and pull it out. I lump these together, but technically they're two different things. Next is rotary cutters and a cutting mat. You can see I have 3, and I actually would like to get myself a 4th one. This one I keep just for pinking. It has my pinking blade in there so that I don't have to swap out my blades all the time. My big one here, this is an Olfa. I can link all these below. And this is what I use the majority of the time. For small curves and such, I use this 28mm little guy. And these aren't necessary, but they make your life so much easier. And I used to think rotary cutters were just for like quilters when you're cutting like straight things, because that's all I used to use it for, going along like a ruler. No, now I use it all the time for everything. If I have to use my scissors, I'm just like, this is archaic. Might as well go churn some butter while I'm at it. I want to get a 4th one for myself. It's going to be just for paper, because now when I have to use scissors to cut out patterns, I think that's kind of archaic. Isn't it funny how we get spoiled when we get like a new gadget and then we're like, I don't know how I lived without this, I can't go back. You know what? All you people who have air threading machines, I'm looking at you. Next are fabric pens, and these I just bought on Amazon. You can get them at your fabric store, anywhere really. And these particular ones are water and air dissolvable. So they just eventually over time they wear off, which can be a bad thing if you're like marking and then you don't get to sewing right away, because then you go back and your marks are gone. I've only found that with like sometimes that happens. The blue especially I find is bad for that. Once you wash them or even just put a little bit of water on them, they're gone. The marks are gone. So I highly recommend these. The last thing I want to share with you is my Seamstress gauge from Rockin Stitch. This one especially is new to me. I am really enjoying it, other than it's in centimeters, and I knew that when I bought it, but maybe I wasn't prepared for how not good I am at centimeters. So it's good for me to learn because my husband's always after me to, you know, get with the times. But it's so hard when all the patterns and everything are in inches. Barbara is coming out with an imperial one, and it's just going through testing right now. So hopefully, I don't know, this year, I don't know, maybe next year, maybe it takes longer, I have no idea. But if you don't know who I'm talking about, Barbara is one of the trio from Pattern Pals. If you're not following them on YouTube, go to it. I will link them below. I've talked about them before. I know I have. Barbara sells seamstress gauges. So it's this little handy tool, and it has different markings on it. So on the bottom, it goes from 1 to 10 centimeters along here. And then it's like a little ruler. On the side, we have a 1 centimeter gauge. This is a 1.5. Along the top is 3 centimeters. And then in here is 5 centimeters. And 2 centimeters. It's for like adding seam allowances or any little fiddly stuff you have to do. So a lot of these measurements are standard for patterns that you're going to use. And then along the side it has the 0.5s, and these have holes in them, so you can actually put your sewing machine needle down in here for when you need to mark seam allowances on your machine. I found it really handy quite a few times I've used it now already. And it's nice to have something little in your hand that you can use, that you don't have to go and grab a big ruler, you know, when you're on pattern pieces and your ruler gets caught in the fabric and it's kind of a mess. Thank you, Barbara, for inventing this. It has been so handy. And it comes with this cute little cork pouch. Handmade, of course. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you'll leave this video a thumbs up and drop me a comment below. Let me know, what's your non-essential must-have for sewing? What am I missing? Do I need to get more gadgets? I'm always up for making my life easier. So if you like this video, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can see more like it, and don't miss out on future videos.